Welcome to First Look, brought to you by the Edamame Anime Club. I'm your co-host Steve, and I'm joined with my other co-host.
Alexander, as always, great to be here.
And what First Look is, it's where we watch the first two episodes of an anime, and then we decide whether to drop it or watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have another good one, another good anime we're gonna watch. We already watched it.
Yeah, we'll watch the first two episodes.
We only watched the first two episodes. But which anime are we doing today?
We're gonna be doing Blood Sea, which you told me was gonna be a horror anime.
Don't do this yet. We're not there yet. Here, Kenpai.
All right, Kenpai.
We're not there yet. We are doing horror anime for the October season.
Yes, that's our theme.
Yeah, I mean, all right. Well, we'll get into it. Let's get into it. Go ahead and read some of the studio stuff.
All right. So Blood Sea came out in 2011, animated by Production IG with Group Clamp. I recognize Clamp. I'm not going to go too into it on what animes they've done. But what I found was interesting is this is actually the second iteration into the Blood franchise. It actually doesn't really follow the story of Blood Plus. It more takes the ideas and is its own standalone story.
Okay.
It's basically the plot is that there's a teenage girl in high school and she kills monsters called Elder Bairns, which are, I don't know, vampires. They feast on blood or something.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for us to like really say much about more of like what's happening throughout the rest of the season because we just watched the first two episodes.
Yeah,
we do that strategically.
Yeah,
we do it strategically, so we don't have to. Because really, I mean, really, the first episode, we watch it. Maybe or maybe not. And then the second episode maybe got better.
Yeah,
and sometimes it doesn't.
We want to see the tone that it sets.
Yeah.
And also, this is the first one that we've actually done. We watched the first episode in the sub and the second episode in the dub. We always just stick to one or the other. So
yeah, I thought that was. I mean, I don't. Both of them were pretty okay. Like, actually, I should say both of them were what they were. Like, they weren't bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine. I like doing it like that so we can see. Because sometimes, and sure, if you guys watch like Dragon Ball Z, you'll know what I'm talking about. The dub and the sub. I don't know who the voice actor is for the sub. But it's super high pitch. It's a 10-minute monologue of Goku screaming at like a high pitch frequency. Yeah, it definitely doesn't do it justice. Yeah, the voice actor for Goku and the one that does the dub is really good.
Yeah.
So that's why we do it like that.
Yeah, we wanted to hear the differences.
Yeah.
Other than that, another interesting fact is that the Elder Bairns were inspired by H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos.
I love that. Yeah, I love the Lovecraft whole like what is it, like the cryptography or the cryptic stuff?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And I like the whole story of Cthulhu.
Yeah, Lovecraftian horror is goated basically. So that they take inspiration on it should be a good indication that it should be a horror anime.
Yeah. Well, really, I mean, like a lot of people take inspiration out of H.P. Lovecraft stuff. But I'm glad that anime is doing it as well. All right, what else you got?
I think that's about it as far as background info. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the pros and cons. So again, we're about to go over the first two episodes, going over pros and cons. And let's just start off with it. Did you think honestly this was a horror anime?
Not after watching it, no. It would be more like a shonen slice of life style. Like it wasn't a horror filter. There's nothing really scary about it.
Yeah, it wasn't even eerie or make us feel uncomfortable. I agree, but also I know that you said something about like Demon Slayer is not a horror anime.
Yeah, Demon Slayer is not a horror anime.
But the thing is, it kind of is, right? I mean, it has like demons in it. I mean, but I don't consider it a horror, but it kind of falls under the horror genre in the sense that it has like monsters in it.
Well, that'd be like calling Bleach a horror anime, and you watched Bleach, and it kind of does have. I would say Bleach is more of a horror anime than this one because Bleach actually has like ghosts or hollows.
Bleach,
so
Bleach is pretty spooky, man.
The first few seasons of Bleach is actually kind of spooky.
Yeah, and there's vampires in there and stuff.
That's canon. Or that's filler. I mean,
it's totally filler. Yeah. All right, well, let's go into the pros of this. So we can just jump into the intro already.
Yeah. So I actually have a note on the intro. After watching it, I said, "Sick intro. Hopefully, show keeps up the animation level."
Oh yeah.
So that was my first impression on it. I really liked the intro. It was
music
good.
was good. Yeah. It does this. It's like focal point is always on blood,
Mhm.
like these vials of blood coming through. That was kind of cool, and it did follow kind of the horror theme. So I did like that. What do you think about the main character?
I like Saya. Her design was good. Also, the main character is the only character I really remember off of it. Everyone else was just generic. So Saya, I remember her name.
Yeah,
Saya Kurosagi, I believe.
yeah.
I liked her design. She was cool. Personality wise, didn't really get a chance to develop her.
I think she was developed enough for me to make a kind of a judgment call on her.
Okay.
Like the whole, happy go lucky singing clumsy girl,
Yeah, yeah,
and then you know then badass at night. I thought that was kind of cool. That was an interesting like
yeah,
character design for her. She also like she looks cool.
yeah. I like her twin pigtails, the
Yeah,
long hair.
the long hair, like the uniform they wear. It's like not traditional.
Yeah, you pointed
Yeah,
that out when we were
it was
watching.
kind of cool. It was like black with red.
Hmm.
So that was definitely a pro. So I put that as a character design. But I did like they had twins in there. They were kind of cool.
I was expecting more from the twins. I was excited to see them.
Yeah.
But then again, it'll be one of the things I talk about. All the
Oh, in the
characters
comics, yeah.
just feel like underdeveloped. Saya was the more developed character in the first two episodes.
And I'm glad that. Well, see, we've done anime. What is it? Deadly school, Spellblades. Not deadly. It's whatever it is. I can't even remember it right now off the top of my head. It's one of the ones we did. The seven Spellblades.
Yeah, it's the Seven Deadly Spellblades.
Something like that. But that one, they actually did amazing character design on all the characters, and just those first two episodes. So we come here and they don't really they have a group, they have a little squad of people to keep around, and they don't do it. Which I was like, well, it's first two episodes, but really other anime are doing it, and those are like really shining through, and they didn't do that here. There's a mystery element to it as well. Did you catch that? With the light, where she keeps imagining the light and she's trying to reach for it, but she never gets there.
Yeah, I don't know why she's spacing out, if you want to call it like a mystery. I guess that is the mystery. Also, she's like infatuated with some person in her class. Like even in the first episode, the moment he walks in, she's like hyper focused on him.
Yeah, and they kind of I touched base on that a little bit earlier, just things like that. But that was really for the first episode, my first big pros. I did like the blood scenes, the way they like. So it's like they stab them and it's like.
Yeah.
So like the villain,
the violence is cool.
Yeah, the violence. Well, the villain was kind of cool. The very introduction of the first villain, like you wouldn't expect that. Like right now, like for the first, how long was the episode? 23 minutes.
Yeah.
Probably about 19 minutes of that slice of life.
Yeah.
That's slice of life. And then out of nowhere, she comes home and she's like, "Father, oh, I gotta go out there. You're giving me a sword. I gotta go fight a dummy." And then she goes out there and fights this dummy, and then it turns out to be, what did you call him? Elden Bairns?
The Elder Bairns. She didn't think she was going to fight a dummy. She knew she was going to fight an Elder Bairn, but that's the way it was like presented to her.
We thought that. Well, I thought that.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, it's just like a practice dummy that moves, and then it turns into some kind of like praying mantis.
Yeah,
creature.
yeah.
And that was kind of cool.
Yeah. So one of the pros I wrote down, the monster design was great. I wrote that down, and it had good choreography. I liked they have like a little small minute details in like the character movements that I thought was well done during the fight scenes.
Yeah, they did have a good scene. There was a scene where she's like getting pinned down and like she's like kicking him in the face, and the animation like shows like the kicking, and it's a small detail I noticed. I was like, that's kind of cool. Like that's how you would react when you're getting picked up by a creature and held with their hand, and the kicking she did it was pretty kind of like squirrely.
Yeah.
So that was actually really cool. You're right.
Yeah.
A couple of the pros I had here. She likes to sing when she walks to class, which I thought that was really funny, and I thought it was just like a little cute slice of life detail that I liked.
Yeah. One of the things I put was the singing sounds better in English.
Oh, it does sound way better in English, which is kind of funny. Which is surprising that you're saying that.
Yeah, you're right. I'm all about the dub.
You're all about the sub.
Oh, sub, yeah. Yeah. I don't like the dub. I'm all about.
The dub was good. The voice acting on both ends were really well done. The twins' voice acting was really good. There's some of the good voice actors in there, but yeah, the music was really good. I mean, the fight scenes when they're fighting, the music, and that's always something I noticed is like the scoring for it. Like you can see her like the tone switch, and that was kind of cool. And the last one I put here that's really not that important, I put is the class rep. I've noticed that any anime that follows a school has a class rep, and I know it's like a Japanese thing, but I don't I don't know how the importance of it, but like I've noticed that my hero has a class rep, and they're like the second teacher, and then they're like, "Oh, sorry, class rep, like we're being too noisy."
I want to say, I might be wrong here, but in every single classroom, like there's, I'm class 1C and I'm class 2B or whatever they say. Like the inside the little like, I guess maybe 20, maybe 25 student classroom, they elect the class reps. So there's multiple class reps. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, yeah, but that was, and he's also like the friend.
Yeah.
He sits with him at lunch. You got any other pros? I'm looking at your pro list. It looks pretty small.
Yeah, it's pretty small. I repeat a bunch of the same things. I said the music has an epic sound to it when there's a lot on the line. So whenever the fight scenes are happening, the music's good.
Yeah, yeah, and then it definitely sets the tone for the fight.
Yeah.
So I have no other pros.
No, that's it on my pros.
All right, so we got shit on it, right?
You know, it's probably is more shitting on it than praising it.
So it was for what it was saw. It was pretty good, but I mean, my main thing I was looking at for was the horror aspect of it.
Yeah.
Very little horror in it. Very little. Not so much. I definitely wouldn't classify this as horror from just the 2 episodes.
There's very little mystery. Like the mystery you have to reach for. Like it's like it'd be like why the mystery is like why isn't the dad fighting?
I put that as a con. What the fuck? Like he knows like she's gonna go out and fight like for her life, and the dad just like it's funny because she comes home from school and like she's like, father, are you okay? Like nothing's wrong with him, and then he's like, here's your sword, go figure that shit out.
So for the horror aspect, I was actually expecting her to come home and the dad be dead, like brutally murdered.
Yes.
I was expecting that.
I was 100% expecting him to come back, and that would have like. If the first episode ended with like the dad on a stake, I would have been like, all right, now we're talking.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, he comes back and he's fine. He just looks great. This is all fucking happy go. 185-pound pure muscle. I mean, I don't know, but like he's statured.
Yeah.
For him to let his daughter go out and do the fighting.
Yeah, they don't really explain that. All he does is like, all right, it's time. Here's your mythical epic sword that kills all the Elder Bairns. You know your mother used it, right? Okay, now go. You're good.
Yeah, I guess the men don't fight in his family.
Yeah.
One of the cons I had was the fight scene. The very first time that they fight, the Elder Bear that looks like a dummy, she like strikes him downwards, and he falls face first with the blade.
Yeah.
And then she thinks he won, and she gets up, transforms, whatever. Then she starts slicing him up, like actually doing damage. Why didn't that first strike slice it open?
I'm not too sure. She does get like this weird like demonic look, or her like pupils change or something. Yeah. I don't know.
But see, that's to me, I was just like what that first strike should have done the same thing that the other strikes were doing, but they didn't, So I was like, okay, so it's not consistent with the the sword's not as badass as they made it seem. But that was a con I got. All right. Go ahead.
The main con I have is just that the first episode's boring. I'm not invested in the characters. I don't really care what they have to say. Like they're just being like tropes, like the twins. Like what did they add to the story? Like I'm not invested enough to just watch them have mundane conversation. Like she's sitting there stopping by like the shopkeeper's house. I don't know, some dude who like has coffee and like is giving her jello. Like why do I care? Like, what did that add to it? Like, that's how I felt about it.
All right, I don't want to hear this. That's the same fucking story that Bleach does. Bleach goes to what's his name, the shop owner, and he goes,
Uruhara is way more memorable.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just poking fun at you because you really like Bleach. So you're right. I was kind of an interesting. I'm sure later on maybe he has a bigger point to play. He does introduce like. The Jello was kind of cool. It looked like the food looked appealing.
I mean, but again, like it's like just this mundane conversation. It's the first episode. Explain the plot to me. Start telling me what these Elder Bairns are about. Why they're here. Tell me why the father's fighting the demons or whatever. Like they explain it in the second episode that her mother used to do it. Like there's just a bunch of just like, to me, mundane bullshit. Like they could have cut that episode in like 6 minutes and all the important stuff would have happened. And instead, it's like weird tropes of like. They're in the high school class setting, and that's how they're introducing each other.
You're right. It was boring. I'm not gonna take it. It was hella boring.
Like I could tolerate that, and maybe if they had set up the personas, and maybe some of the jokes could land. But like, the twins, I've never heard them talk before, but they echo each other. Okay, I mean, I guess that's cool, but they're doing that.
Yeah, it was a boring first episode, and really I wrote that like I don't really when I'm watching a horror anime, I don't really look for comedic aspects too much.
Yeah.
I don't like it to be too comedic, and it just seemed like there was like a lot of like comedic relief. And you've talked about the way comedic relief is worked in the previous episodes, where you said something like comedic relief is supposed to set up like a serious scene coming up,
Hmm.
and it did not do that too many times. It did it kind of a couple times, but I mean, it just didn't do it like there was like a lot of like the first 17 minutes was like slice of life comedic relief
Yeah.
introduction to these characters.
And I'm so uninvested in these characters that all they are to me is just the stereotypes. Like, I don't know any of their names. It's just the dad. It's like the shopkeep owner that gives like the coffee. It's like like you said, the class rep. There's the twins. Like, I don't know whoever else is in there, but they're not memorable.
Exactly, and that's kind of a terrible trait, like not being memorable. Like they add nothing
Yeah,
to the story. So you're right. You're right, 100%. Yeah.
that's probably my biggest con.
What do you think about the outro? It's like her standing and the credits rolling on the street.
Oh yeah,
I don't like it.
I didn't like it either.
I put outro as mid. It was not great. I haven't. Sometimes like they're both hits. Sometimes they're not. And this one just is not great. It's a cool scene. It's just her standing there.
Yeah. So I do. It's the second episode though. It's in my cons. I actually write down their names. But I couldn't tell you them off the top of their head. I have to sit here and look at my notes.
I didn't write down their names. I didn't even know Saya to you said it, because Saya to me was the only one that was important.
Yeah, Saya's the only important character. I remember her. I did like her character design. She's the only developed character in this.
Yeah. Okay. And what else you got?
This is basically on the second episode though.
It's fine. I'm on the second episode.
Itsuki is a simp. That's one of my cons. Like
the class rep. That's the class rep.
It is a class rep.
Yeah, he's like a simp. Like he's just like he's a simp. That's so funny, dude. He is a simp. Yeah, he is definitely the simp out of the group. Does that have to happen in every anime? There's a simp.
I don't know. He was overly simp, like too much. Like he
was like open about it.
He's like, oh yeah, I know I like Saya, and then like Saya's being oblivious to it, and even like the twins are, I don't know, they're like, oh, you'll get her next time. She's like, I know, like after his failed attempts on like hitting on her. Like she's totally ignoring him.
Which brings up my next con, because it's a scene that happened. So they're doing this at the lunch table, at like a little picnic table,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're all doing this. And she brought lunch, and they're like the love interest, the guy. I don't know if you have
the one that she's overly focused on.
Yeah, like she runs up to him randomly.
Oh yeah, she like wants to feed him.
She wants that. And I put that. This is what I put: random eating. In what universe do you go run up to someone and go, "Did you eat? Here, eat this egg that I have."
It's got to be like a Japanese cultural thing.
I don't think
where
so,
like
man.
you try to feed other people. Like that's what's going on.
I don't think that. But like, why him? Like, out of everyone, like, why him? Like, there's other people in the school. Maybe it's because the love interest, but I thought it was very strange.
Yeah. All right. So the note that I wrote on that is Itsuki is getting cucked by Tokizawa. that's what I wrote down.
You wrote that down?
Yeah. I mean, like he's sitting there eating lunch with her, trying to get her attention. Like everyone's like trying to egg him on to like. It's not really hitting on her. It's like his attempt at romance or whatever. And then she's like just completely ignores him. Like sees this dude just walking off in the distance, and then like grabs her little like egg bento, whatever the hell it is, and runs over there and is like, hey, eat this, like please. And he's like, no, like, I'm too much of a badass. And then like and then he decides to eat it, and
after
then
she wouldn't leave him alone. Yeah. So I guess, I mean, I'm sure there's some development with them too, probably. But yeah, I didn't like it.
I mean, see, like, think about what we're talking about now. We're not even talking about the monsters or the plot development or anything like that. We're talking about some stupid ass shit, which is mundane as hell. like that. This is what I'm getting from the first two episodes. Yeah. No background on the vampires. There's some dude who like he's talking about blood. That was probably the most interesting thing about it in like the first 2 minutes of the episode one. He's like throwing this idea of like blood and is it nature or nurture that develops one into what they are. That's like, this is like, and then this talking about the eating.
Well, the last thing I have is this is a dog.
Oh, the dog.
The dog that looks like a cat.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of strange. I always felt like dogs are like not like heavily like displayed in anime. It's those cats. but it looked like a cat, which is really strange.
Yeah, I thought it was a cat, and then he's like, "Oh, it's a dog with strange markings."
Yeah, and so now I guess we can get in this last kind of scene we saw was like the final villain in episode 2, like an eye monster. Like it's almost unmemorable. Like it's hard.
It was just like a very brief reveal. She doesn't actually fight it, right?
Yeah. It was like a quick scene from that.
Oh well, that fight scene was cool. Like I said, I thought the fights are choreographed. Like she like knocks her off of the tree into like the pool of water and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That fight scene.
Yeah, and then she comes back home all bloody.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was kind of cool, but that's again it's like 17 minutes of this boring high school slice of life bullshit, and then and it's like repetitive too.
And then she comes home, and then he's like, "All right, it's time to fight."
It's so repetitive. Yeah. Right? It's like the same formula. First 2 episodes, she gets up, she goes to the shopkeeper's house, eats breakfast. Then she goes to her class, does the class stuff, and then she gets home singing a song. And the dad's all time to fight, and the same. You could watch episode 1 and 2 interchangeably, probably they're super repetitive.
Yeah,
I guess you have to watch episode 1 first because he presents the sword to her.
Yeah.
Either way, like it's so repetitive, and that's one of my big, like anime to me that's too repetitive. I can't. I have trouble getting behind, and that's why I have so much critique on the big 3s, like Bleach, super repetitive.
I mean,
sometimes
it's got hundreds.
I know
of
I'm picking on Bleach,
yes.
but also I'm sure One Piece has to if it's 1,000 episodes. Dragon Ball Z is super repetitive. So it was like I'm losing. Spirit Bomb, I win. Happy go, repeat. And things that it seems like things that always repeat, kind of like.
But you're talking about repetitive in episodes 1 and 2 compared to repetitive in like hundreds of episodes.
But what if episode 3? Episode 3 is gonna be the same shit, dude. We haven't watched it, but I bet you episode 3 is the same bullshit.
Yeah.
She gets up. She goes to shopkeepers. He goes, "Up, you're gonna be late." She gets up. She goes there. There's a scene where they're at school. Maybe they're in gym class now, and she sees the guy like, "Oh, did you run today?" And then they have this time. And then I'm sure like she goes on home singing a song, and the dad's all, "Here, the hills.
Yeah.
Take the sword." And then she goes out there and fights. So again, we haven't seen episode 3. I'm just spitballing here.
It's 24 episodes long, so you're probably highly.
It's 24 episodes.
Yeah, it's 24 episodes.
Oh my god.
Yes. Guess I could double check real quick. Let's see. Oh no, it's only 12 episodes.
Oh, okay. Thank God.
I would have guessed it was going to be for how slow it was going.
It's slow.
Yeah.
It was slow. All right, that's all the cons. I mean, I think it's kind of clear where we both stand on this.
Yeah.
So you're gonna watch it?
Dropping the hell out of this.
I'm also gonna drop it. Yeah, I'm gonna drop it. I could not get into it. There's just so much more that like I feel like it could have brought. And the reason I watched it, the reason I thought it was a horror anime is I seen episodes of them like fighting like giant animals that are like tearing through the city. And I'm sure someone's gonna come in and say, "You gotta wait for episode 8." Like that's the problem, is that that's the whole point of First Looks. It's not to we're not here to wait to episode 8.
Yeah.
We wanna so slow burns are great.
I've always made the mistake, and I've watched so much anime now, like where you start a series like, okay, I'm gonna finish it. Like you just get to a point where there's too many anime out there. Like you can't just be watching everything to completion just for the sake of it. Like I've been there, I've done that. I'm at the point where, there's got to be something special about it. And this isn't happening.
No, I agree. Every anime we've ever watched, like it has to grab me and pull me in.
Mm-hmm.
But I have the same problem. It's like if I watch like the first couple episodes and nothing's happening, I'm like, well, I'm already invested. I got to keep watching it.
Yeah.
But whenever you get to watch some of the greats that came out, and you realize that they have their first episodes grab you. Neon Genesis pulled me in immediately. I'm sure same thing with the ones that you always recommend, with Starlight Review and stuff like that. So they really do just bring us in. But when you watch anime like this, it wasn't compelling enough for me to finish the season.
Yeah, granted, could get much better, but the first 2 episodes not doing it.
What are other people saying about it?
So it says that Google users, 89% of Google users liked the show.
89.
That's what it says. I guess it's either binary, you like or dislike it. So,
okay, kind of like what we're doing right now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is 89% don't like it. It's given a 6.2 out of 10 by IMDb. And then it's given a 6.5 out of 10 on my anime list.
What was it? 6.5.
6.5 out of 10.
That's a
So they're basically just saying it's a slightly above average anime.
yeah. I honestly 100% agree with them. Like that's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah, slightly above average. Like like think about our pros. Like if we said it had good animation, the fight scenes were good, the choreograph was good, the monster designs were good, but it's just like that small little bit to me is just overshadowed by the. And I keep saying this is it's just mundane.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
mundane.
like the good scenes are a fraction of the whole episode. I just couldn't get behind it. So I definitely wouldn't recommend this to anyone. Maybe if you like slice of life and you like a little horror, maybe you'll like this. Or like if you love slice of life and you kind of like shonen, maybe this will be for you. But
yeah, it's got that little 3 minutes of shonen in there for you with the 17 minutes worth of talking about how good food is.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So I don't recommend watching this. I'm not gonna watch it.
I'm not gonna watch it.
See, you can watch it, but we're just gonna drop it. We're not gonna watch it.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't have gotten able to watch this. Although it does have a movie, I don't know how that's gonna be. But
yeah. All right, you got anything else?
Yeah, that's it for me.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what episode it gets good on.
Yeah. If you're one of the rare few, I'd imagine. I don't know how many people watch this, but let us know if you finished it. Tell us what your rating is.
Yeah.
Give me some other opinions on this.
Yeah, maybe they're compelling enough. Like, oh, episode 3 is when the huge plot.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.
Later.